This is Evening News for Friday, February 21, 2014. I'm Samuel Suknandan. Thanks for joining us. Making the headlines tonight. Police ordered to further investigate Hardin baton rape saga. One in custody for Cambio dealer's execution. Anna Regina residents to experience load shedding. As City Hall to commission new crematorium. And all set for successful hosting of Matrimony 2014. And now for the news in detail. Almost 3 weeks of reviewing evidence in the Colwyn Hardin saga, Director of Public Prosecutions, Bibi Shalimar Haq, on Friday returned the file to the police and ordered that further investigations be conducted into the matter. Bisham Mohammed reports.
The Director of Public Prosecution, after perusing at least 40 statements from witnesses and police ranks, returned the file to the police and ordered that more investigations be done before she makes her final recommendations. It is not clear whether the medical certificate purportedly from Jamaica, which confirmed that Hardin was baton raped, was sent to the DPP for review. The file also comprised the recommendations of the Police Complaints Authority Chairman, retired Justice Cecil Kennard, but Crime Chief Silar Prasad recently said that while this is so, the DPP has the final say in the matter. 23-year-old Hardin of West Ronville, Georgetown, is alleging that a police constable in the presence of two other senior ranks forced a police baton into his rectum while he was in custody between November 15 and November 18, 2013, pending investigations into a report of burglary. It is alleged that during his detention, Hardin assaulted a peace officer and behaved disorderly, and he was charged for the offences. He appeared in court on November 18, 2013, and was placed on bail in the sum of $50,000, but was unable to raise this sum and was remanded to prison. The matter is still pending. After carefully analyzing the report of the investigation conducted by the police officer of professional responsibility, Justice Kennard said that there were no conclusive evidence that Hardin was baton raped, but Timeh Police Station ranks had used excessive force. He thus recommended at least 2 ranks be charged with assault and 2 face disciplinary actions. The former Chancellor of the Judiciary was, however, not privy to the medical certificates. About a week ago, Hardin's attorney Nigel Hughes disclosed that his client had been examined by medical experts Dr. Dalgish Joseph at St. Joseph Morsi Hospital in Guyana and doctors in Jamaica. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
At the town hall meeting hosted by the government in Linden to sensitize and bring the people of the mining town up to speed with the status of the anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism bill, Linden residents were very clear that they want the bill to be passed. The residents were not in support of the opposition's recent proposal to the bill that is seeking to give police and customs officers the power to stop and search persons, and if they are found with $2 million worth of currency or more, that currency can be seized and persons arrested if the police or customs officer has reasonable suspicion that it is the proceeds of a serious offense or the subject of money laundering. Presidential Advisor on Governance Gail Teixeira and Junior Finance Minister Bishop Juan Ejil were well received by the packed audience in Linden, despite efforts by some elements of the Linden community to suggest that the meeting with the cabinet members had been cancelled. The Partnership for National Unity has casted blame on government for the delay in the timely passage of the anti-money laundering bill. Details from Svetlana Marshall.
Opposition leader David Granger said the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force, CFATF, had informed the People's Progressive Party Civic Administration of Guyana's deficiencies in the fight against money laundering and the financing of terrorism acts since 2011.
The third round of MER adopted by the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force Council of Ministers in May 2011. This is before the APNU was even formed. This meeting was held in Honduras, and it stated, and I quote, Guyana was placed on a list of jurisdictions with strategic anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism deficiencies that have not made sufficient progress in addressing the deficiencies and required Guyana to take specific steps to address these deficiencies by November 2013. This is a statement that occurred nearly 3 years ago. from the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force.
Despite warnings, Granger said it was only until April 2013 that the government introduced the AML-CFT Amendment Bill. He posited APNU has always been concerned about good governance and the enforcement of the legislation.
APNU is determined that the Bank of Guyana, the Financial Intelligence Unit, the Special Organized Crime Unit, and some of you might not have heard about it, simply because it was only invented in November last year. Dr. Roger Luncheon, the head of the Presidential Secretariat, announced only in November last year that they're setting up a special organized crime unit within the Guyana Police Force. So we're insisting that these institutions and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution be made functionally empowered with the needed autonomy and equipped with the technical and institutional capabilities and capacity to effectively discharge the functions assigned to them by the amended 2009 Act.
APNU, he said, has engaged the Ghana government, the private sector, civil society, trade unions and the international community in its campaign to protect the country's economy. Granger maintains that APNU is committed to establishing a strong legislation that is effectively enforceable. Reporting for the Evening News, I am Svetlana Marshall.
The Ghana Power and Light Inc. GPL said authorized meter readers will be visiting the homes of consumers to avoid estimation of bills. In its monthly operational report, GPL said some 11.5% of its total postpaid customers' bills were estimated. This resulted from the company's meter readers being unable to gain access to the meters for the purpose of obtaining readings, primarily as a result of locked gates and incorrectly positioned meters. The report said the highest incidence of locked gates occurs in regions 3 and 4, while villages on the west bank of Demerara get the most estimated bills. GPL is reminding customers that the contract for provision of service requires the company to have unimpeded access to the meters. Further, the right to access to have GPL's meters read is provided for by law under the Electricity Sector Reform Act of 1999, which was amended in 2010. The law also empowers GPL to disconnect the service if it is unable to read the meter. GPL's meter readers operate from Sunday to Sunday between 6 hours and 17 hours. Join us after these messages for more of the Evening News. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the Evening News. One man was taken into police custody in connection with the gunning down of Eccles East Bank Demerara money changer Brijlal Prasad, who was killed during a robbery on Lombard Street, Georgetown on Thursday. Bishar Mohammed reports.
Crime Chief Silar Prasad, via telephone interview on Friday, told this newscast that one person is in custody for the murder of Brijlal Prasad. Several other suspects are being sidelined as police continue their investigations. The crime chief also confirmed that a post-mortem, which was scheduled to be performed on the body of the businessman on Friday, has been rescheduled to another date. However, the Evening News understands that 3 occupants of a car were intercepted in Caneville, East Bank Demerara on Thursday evening with guns and ammunition, but Prasad noted that there are no links to the money changers death and the men in that incident. A Division Commander George Vifehouse, when contacted, said that from reports received, the 3 men were intercepted as they were about to carry out a robbery. He said that the 3 men were taken into police custody and they are expected to be charged shortly. He said that the police have no information that can link the men with the horrendous crime in Lombard Street. Darren Prasad, son of the dead man, when contacted on Friday morning, said that his family is still shaken about his father's death, but they have high hopes that the perpetrators will be brought to justice. The young man stated that he went to the Breakdown police station to inquire about investigations and was told that the police are working on several clues that can lead to a crack in the case. At about 8 hours at 10 on Thursday, Prasad, also called B-Boy, was gunned down in the vicinity of Builders Lumberyard, Lombard Street, Georgetown, after he was attacked by 2 gunmen. The robbers made good their escape with a bag containing at least 1 million Guyana dollars. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
The Guyana Power and Light Inc. GPL said Anna Regina residents will experience load shedding during February 27 to March 9 as it continues plant maintenance of its generating equipment at Anna Regina Region 2. A major overhaul is scheduled from February 27 to March 9. The overhaul, which will be done in keeping with manufacturers' recommendations, is part of GPL's rigid maintenance program aimed at ensuring efficient and reliable power generation. During the overhaul, there will be insufficient capacity to satisfy demand during peak hours, and residents on the Essequibo coast will be subject to scheduled load shedding. You can read Saturday's edition of the Guyana Times newspaper for the full schedule of the days and areas that are likely to experience the load shedding. The Alliance for Change AFC has not submitted its proposal to the Government of Ghana on the Public Procurement Amendment Bill. An agreement, the alliance said, will pave the way for the passage of the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Amendment Bill of 2013. Svetlana Marshall has more.
Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Anil Nandlall says government will not respond to the AFC's proposal on the anti-money laundering bill until it has been formally tabled with the Donald Ramotar administration. Nandlall made this comment during an interview with this newscast, where he responded to some statements made by the AFC's executive at a recent media briefing.
It is unfortunate that the AFC has seen it fit to publish their position in the press rather than make their proposals known to the government in writing so that their proposals can be examined and discussed at the level of cabinet. Speaking for the government has not received any proposals from the AFC.
However, the Legal Affairs Minister complained that the Partnership for National Unity has not yet indicated its concerns.
We are to elicit from the opposition what it is that they would like the personnel from the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force to address when he comes. You can't have a person travel from one country to another and not tell him what he's expected to speak on.
On Wednesday, the AML Select Committee members met at the Parliament buildings, where they were officially informed by the Chief Parliamentary Counsel that while one of the draft amendments proposed by APNU has been completed, further clarification is needed on the others. APNU, in its proposed amendments, is seeking to remove the powers of the Finance Minister to appoint the Director of the Financial Intelligence Unit, FIU, and to be placed within a committee of the National Assembly. It is also pushing for the establishment of an anti-money laundering authority comprising 10 members appointed by the House. Additionally, APNU has also proposed the seizure of cash over $2 million in jewelry by the police or customs once there are reasonable suspicions.
Several security personnel will soon undergo training both locally and internationally as efforts continue to be made to build capacity of senior security officials. Ghana will be represented by Assistant Police Superintendent Ewert Whitaker at a hemispheric workshop on best practices in travel document in Miami, Florida. He will be accompanied by immigration staff from the Home Affairs Ministry. The workshop will promote the exchange of information and experiences on the issuance and control of travel documents and identity management in the member states of the Organization of American States to identify the key challenges, gaps in knowledge training, and support needs for the future. Senior Superintendent Maxine Graham will be attending a regional workshop to enhance the capacity of women involved in major events in Ottawa, Canada. This forum is aimed at focusing on capacity strengthening for female security practitioners with the potential to advance to management level in the fields of crime prevention and security governance, including managing elements of major event security. You're watching the Evening News. Join us after these messages for more news. Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. The Mayor and City Council, under its Market and Public Health Department, today announced that a crematorium is set to be commissioned in Georgetown soon. More in this Gomati Gangadin report.
Chairman of the Market and Public Health Committee at the Georgetown Municipality, Randall Jordan, made the announcement this morning. Jordan said that the crematorium is set for commissioning as early as March 1, 2014 to the benefit of residents of Georgetown. He explained that the crematorium will be one of a kind and quite modern in its facilities.
There will be special apartments or separations for male and female. They will be dressed in different sections of that crematorium and also made in different sections of that crematorium. There will be a chapel there for the Christians. There will be a mosque and a temple for Muslims and Hindus.
The former mayor of Georgetown noted that it is a well-known fact that the council has a problem in burying the dead, and with the commissioning of the crematorium, this issue can be solved to a large extent. While the mayor and city council is set to commission the crematorium, Jordan noted that this was an initiative undertaken by Dr. Carl Naimatali, a Guyanese doctor. He is said to be the developer and main contributor to the realization of the crematorium. He stated that the doctor and his team will also take to the task of clearance and maintenance of some sections of the Lee Repentier Cemetery.
Finally, the citizens of Georgetown and the wider areas can be assured that a crematorium will be in place in another couple of weeks.
Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Gomati Gangadin.
People's Progressive Party Civic Region 2 Councillor Vilma De Silva is calling for a triple-deck market at Charity in an effort to beautify the area to attract more tourists. According to the councillor, Charity is the gateway to the Pomeroon, Venezuela and the Caribbean, and as such should be kept clean and tidy at all times. De Silva said too that Charity is moving to become a town, and as such the standard must be improved. Speaking to councillors at a recent Regional Democratic Council meeting, De Silva said she is very much embarrassed to introduce foreigners to the community. She explained that Pomeroon produces quality products, but the site at Charity is an embarrassment to the region. The Ghana Teachers Union says that technology should not be banned in schools, but rather children should be monitored when using such. Here are the details.
General Secretary of the Guyana Teachers Union, Coretta MacDonald, says that, contrary to popular belief, she does not think that cell phones and other gadgets should be banned in schools, but rather the usage of these items should be controlled.
Like everything else, the gadgets, textbooks, being in and out, everything has its advantage and its disadvantages. And it's how we monitor the use of these gadgets. It will work towards benefiting us or not benefiting us. And we're saying just the same way when we have computers installed in our schools and we have them on broadband, that children can go into the computer labs and do this and do that. The same way when the children have their phones, just as we're saying, using their cell phones, using their tablets, they're going to do this, do that. The same thing they can do in the computer labs in schools. We have to monitor what our children do. And that is why we keep saying from the point the Guyana the Guyana Teachers Union point of view, that we should continue to have this tripartite group: the parent or society, the school, and the teachers, or the home, teachers, the school, or the home, the society, and the school, where we can interface with each other on a regular basis. And so parents would be able to come into schools, parents would be able to monitor their children. So I'm going to call at this time on the politicians who sit in parliament and make all these laws and so on. I'm calling on them to assist us to make the lives of our children a meaningful one.
MacDonald noted too that parents need to play a bigger role in the lives of their children. She added that most parents are unable to manage how their children use the internet.
Gadgets are good because they can assist in our lessons when we're teaching. Very quickly, the children can Google whatever we're looking at and come up with solutions and come up with added information that would be useful to them. But if we are going to leave them to willy-nilly do things, then of course they're going to get involved in all sorts of things. So coming from the GTU's point of view, we're saying that these gadgets should not be banned, but the use of the gadgets should be monitored.
Her statement comes weeks after a Partnership for National Unity had issued a statement calling for a ban on electronics in school. The party claims that gadgets such as cell phones and tablets have a negative impact on children's performance in school.
Georgetown Mayor Hamilton Green says he was not aware that a budget for the Georgetown municipality was submitted to the Ministry of Local Government for approval. Alexis Rodney reports.
City Mayor Hamilton Green says he did not know that the City Council budget for 2014 was submitted to the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development for review. Green says that the actual submission of the budget to the minister without prior consent from him or the deputy mayor is just another violation on the part of Town Clerk Carol Suba. Acting Minister of Local Government and Regional Development Norman Whittaker on Tuesday said that he will not approve the City Council's budget for 2014, which he claims is highly deficit. He explained that the budget was deficit of some $0.2 billion. He also noted that there were some inconsistencies. The minister said he is not willing to assent to any budget that has a deficit unless the monies recorded in the deficit are to be used for emergency work. He also said that there were some provisions in the budget that were not supposed to be there. In particular, he noted provisions for local government elections. The first budget, which was presented to the City Council in November of 2013, was not approved by the Council. The Council had objected to the budget, citing that the Finance Committee did not take into consideration various issues that were indicated as being pertinent to the effective functioning of the Council. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
The Guyana International Conference Centre, Liliendal, Greater Georgetown is the place to be on Sunday, March 8, when the Guyana Hindu Dharmic Sabha hosts its spectacular annual Pagwas Mela, Bazaar and Folk Dance Festival. The Sabha is very happy with the great interest expressed by dance groups from across Guyana and looks forward to some electrifying performances from groups in Essequibo, Berbice and Demerara. All the dancers have been working hard on their performances and are excited to be part of the Folk Dance Festival. Keen competition is expected for the top spots. In the past 2 years since the festival's inauguration, the top spots were won by the Swarswati Dance Group of Essequibo and the Jawanka Nitya Group of West Coast Demerara. The first prize is $50,000 and a trophy. The second prize is $40,000 and a trophy, while the third prize is $30,000 and a trophy. Other participating groups will receive cash awards and trophies. The Sabha has expressed thanks to the Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry, GBTI, and Digicel for the generous contribution towards the hosting of the event. The students and teachers of North Warrenveld Multilateral School yesterday celebrated MASH 2014 with their annual Career Day. Here's more.
The atmosphere at the North Warrenveld Multilateral School today was filled with excitement, joy and togetherness as the school hosted its annual Career Day in keeping with MASH 2014. Students were dressed in different attire representing the 6 races of Guyana, while foods and facts were displayed about these races. Explaining the origin and purpose of the day was senior teacher of the school, Kerwin Mars, who noted that it was extremely pleasant to see the students coming together for a common cause and uniting.
Well, today we are really celebrating all of our different cultures or races we found in Guyana, and we are displaying their food, wear, their craft, and the culture, music and so forth. It ties in with MASH because we realize despite we have 6 races, and we could even say 7 because we have the mixed culture there, we can still unite and bring everybody together. So what we were really doing is that we have the different groups set up here, but we are visiting each booth. And you find that even the children visiting each booth, they're sampling food from each booth. And then you find they're all coming together as one and celebrating MASH too.
Meanwhile, speaking on behalf of the students of the school was 12-year-old Aliyah Moore, a Form 1 student, who said that this day is very important to all of them because they get to learn about their friends who are of different ethnicity, cultures.
Well, this day means a lot because right now we're celebrating what happens, like, Culture Day. We showcase the different cultures. We have, although I'm dressed as a Amerindian, I don't know what this is, really truly. I mean, showcasing baskets, showcasing the different costumes and all the different cultures of Amerindian we're doing. Like, we have the Africans over there beating their drums, the Chinese doing their, kind of karate stuff and so. So we're like having a jolly time.
For the evening news, I'm Gabriella Patram.
Join us after these messages for more news. Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. China Harbour Engineering Company Limited, CHEC, on Thursday handed over a cheque for $220,000 to the Culture, Youth and Sport Ministry to support this year's MASH Children's Art and Essay competitions. CHEC's CGIA project manager Kevin Liu, in making the presentation to Culture, Youth and Sport Minister Dr. Frank Anthony, said, while CHEC is here to develop physical infrastructure, the company recognizes that the development of people is the most enduring investment. The support provided by CHEC will be used for cash prizes for the winner of one category of the National Essay Writing Competition and for the first and second and third place winners of the 16 to 17 age group category of the Children Art Competition. Dr. Anthony, after receiving the check, thanked CHEC for coming on board and encouraged the company to play an even bigger role in MASH 2015. Several schools in the capital city took to the streets in celebration of Mashramani 2014 to showcase their costumes and talents. Gabrielle Patram has more.
The streets of Georgetown were filled with excitement as children from various nursery and secondary schools took to the streets to take part in Mashramani celebrations. The evening news took its cameras to the streets to get a glimpse of what took place earlier today. Let's take a look at some of the scenes from today's activities.
This girl is trouble, causing so much trouble. When she start to bubble and winding up she waist, this girl mashing up the place. She mashing up the place, mashing up the place. Hey, some man not able, she could go non-stop. She walking on the table like she don't care for fit, and she mashing up the place. This girl mashing up the, say this girl mashing up the place.
We also spoke to a few teachers and pupils about their parades, and this is what they had to say.
We're showcasing storytelling.
Okay.
And it's like we're all dressed in red. That's the color we choose as children because, we want this brightness. Right? And if you can see, we have our folk book there. it represents the storytelling where you have the books with all the stories so that at least you could relate to the children.
The costume was designed by the staff. The staff come together and they pull the ideas together, and then we went out, get them sewn, and here we presenting them today on the road.
St. Gabriel's Primary School. This is an annual event. It's our Mastram and costume competition. We usually do this to sensitize the children of the different races we have in Guyana. They would bring along foods associated with the races. We would also prepare them for the MASH festival that is occurring presently. So for those persons who don't get the opportunity to go with their parents, they can take part in the school.
Some of the schools visited were Mays School, St. Gabriel's Primary, St. Margaret's Primary, Early Starters Nursery, and Harold B. Davis Special School. For the evening news, I'm Gabriella Patram.
Designers around the country are putting their final touches to costumes and floats as they get ready for Mashramani 2014. Here again is Gabrielle Patram.
Today, various MASH camps across the city were seen putting the final touches to their costumes and floats for Sunday's annual Mashramani Costume and Float Parade. This newscast visited a few of these camps and spoke with the designers.
This year, I came out with a band that is a Maxie Williams production, and I'm fully sponsored by the Tropical Rhythm. That's where I have the orange and yellow. And we are a medium band, 120 costumes, full costume. We have about 10 individual, male and female. And what is it? It's a cooperative effort with all my friends and stuff, especially 10 individual costume, whereby they are living in with a team, living your purpose and making a difference. Because the whole idea behind me having a band this year is where I'm using the opportunity to live in your purpose and making a difference. Because Mashramani is a part of my culture in terms of the art form, and I really look forward for that. So this entire band will give you that kind of view, and everything is all fantasy. One of the section, the turquoise, is called the rhythm section, and the orange and yellow is the tropical rhythm.
Well, what we're doing this year at the Ministry of Education, we're doing a folklore of Kloot de Nieuwenkerk. Kloot was this old Dutch plantation owner that owned some plantation up at the Mara. And it's rumored that after his death, certain hours in the afternoon, people used to see his ghost with his white horse in the afternoon. So that's the concept we're bringing back this year for the folklore. As we celebrate our cultural folklore, celebrate 44.
Meanwhile, these designers are expecting excitement and a whole lot of fun come MASH Day.
We have a large contingent, and music and everything is in place. Right now, we are getting ready to support the Juve on the MASH lane, because normally we don't get a chance to do that. So what we're doing right now is just distributing the costumes and right now we have about 40 costumes complimentary to give away. So anybody's looking at the program this evening, they can check in with the MASH camp and they can have their free costume. By telephone number 682-4445, we're located next door to the Blackberry store on Brickdam.
Well, the band, in terms of the costumes to the revelers, we're complete. We're currently just working on the main piece. Well, we were successful last year, so we're hoping to do the same again this year.
Pulse Entertainment Digisaw slingshot costumes were some other camps that were seen putting last touches to their costumes also. For the evening news, I'm Gabriella Patram.
The Guyana Police Force is informing the general public that several streets will be closed to vehicular traffic between 6 hours and 18 hours on Sunday, February 23, 2014, in order to facilitate the smooth movement of the Mashramani Float Parade. Among those are Thomas Road from J.B. Singh Road to Camp Road, and Albert Street from Wolford Avenue to Thomas Road will be closed for the duration of the float parade. Persons desirous of entering the national park in motor vehicles are required to do so from the Carifesta Avenue entrance. Join us after these messages for your sport news, sponsored by Macron. Welcome back, and now for a look at sport in your headlines. Chandra Paul and Campbell cop top sport awards. Dr. Ian MacDonald calls on national associations to get their acts together, and cycling season resumes tomorrow. This segment of the news comes to you with the kind compliments of MacCorp.
We believe that everything worth building should be built just once. That is why we build on culture, on trust, on integrity. We exist to do more, better, faster, safer. Your success depends on the foundation it's built on. Everything we do is meant to move you forward. MacCorp, let's build Guyana together.
And now for the news in detail. The cycling season is set to continue this Saturday with the 23rd annual R&R International sponsored 11 race program at the inner circuit of the National Park. The event is being held in observance of the country's 44th Republic anniversary and will get underway at 9 hours. The day's activities, which are being organized by national cycling coach Hassan Mohammed, will see seasoned campaigner Alonzo Greaves looking to successfully defend the feature 35-lap schoolboys and invitational race. Greaves won last year's feature event in a time of 1 hour, 15 minutes, 43 seconds, but is expected to face competition in his defense of his title. Cricketers Shivnarine Chandrapal and Shemaine Campbell have copped the top sports accolades for 2013 following the voting process by a National Sports Commission panel on Friday at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall. Avinash Ramzan reports.
Chandrapal, the former West Indies captain, copped the Senior Sportsman of the Year award for the second year in a row, while powerlifter Winston Stobie was voted in as the runner-up senior sportsman. Campbell, who has made the only century by a West Indian woman in ODI cricket, was nominated from the floor and won the Senior Sportswoman award, with hockey goalkeeper Alicia Chavere being the runner-up. Athlete Jason Yaw is Junior Sportsman of the Year, with table tennis player Shamar Britton copping the runner-up accolade. Table tennis star Chelsea Edgell won the Junior Sportswoman award, while athlete Cassie George was adjudged runner-up. The Ghana Table Tennis Association won the Association of the Year award, while the Ghana Boxing Association copped the Most Improved Association prize. The senior squash team was adjudged Sports Team of the Year. Boxing coach Terence Poole copped the Coach of the Year award, while the male sport personalities Godfrey Monroe and Amanda Hermanstein the Female Sport Official of the Year. Speaking to the media after the voting, Director of Sport Neil Kumar expressed satisfaction with the way the process was conducted.
I must compliment the panel, and the panelists have eminent persons like Dr. Ian MacDonald, former Chancellor of Judiciary Mr. Kennard, Mr. Plummer, Chairman of the National Sports Commission. We had all the representatives from all the media houses, and I am really pleased with the way things went this morning.
With only 13 of the 33 national associations submitting nominations for the various categories of awards, Kumar said he was disappointed at the level of disregard the associations have been displaying towards the Premier Sports Awards ceremony.
I would like them to make all nominations by end of November, so we could have this sports activity, the panel to reach first week in December to make the nomination in time. I really ask the association that they should function above board and they should make the nomination by the end of November and send it in so that the panel could reach first week in December, so we could come out at the end of the year and really shower the praise on the people who are supposed to be praised.
Another panelist, Dr. Ian MacDonald, bemoaned the fact that the associations have not been supportive in aiding the process, noting that the ideal situation should be to have all the associations submit nominations for the various categories.
No, I think you have to. It's an extremely important national event and it has to go forward. And the 13 associations that put forward their nominations, you cannot ignore what they have done. So it has to be done. The other thing is, remember, that the panel can nominate from the floor, make nominations, and give reasons for those nominations. So there is that. Names can be added, possibly from other sports that their associations have not put in nominations. So there's an arrangement that can take care for that. But it's not as good as having the nominations from the associations, all of them.
The awards ceremony will take place on March 28 at the National Cultural Centre.
Wayne Parnell took 2 wickets in his first 3 balls in his test return as South Africa dominated Australia on day 2 of the second test in Port Elizabeth. The hosts, resuming on 2-14 for 5, made 423 thanks to centuries from A.B. de Villiers and J.P. Duminy, 23. Parnell and Vernon Philander then took 2 wickets apiece to reduce Australia to 112 for 4, trailing by 311. Opener David Warner will resume on 65 not out. Remember, you can read about these and other stories in tomorrow's edition of the Ghana Times newspaper, which can be picked up from vendors across the country. When you're not reading our newspaper or watching TVG Channel 28, do remember to tune in to RGI on 89.3, 89.5 or 89.7 FM. Your Bridge Reports are next.
We believe that everything worth building should be built just once. And that is why we build on culture, on trust, on integrity. We exist to do more, better, faster, safer. Your success depends on the foundation it's built on. Everything we do is meant to move you forward. Mark on. Let's build Guyana together.
Welcome back, and now for a look at your bridge reports. The Demo Harbour Bridge will be closed on Saturday, February 22 at 9 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Saturday, February 22 at 8 hours 55 for a period of 1.5 hours. That's your Friday, February 21, 2014 edition of the Evening News. I'm Samuel Suknandin. Thanks for joining us.